Shalom from the National Council of Young Israel here at our headquarters in Paramus, New Jersey. We are happy to launch our newest program under the guidance of our new board of directors called 4 Minutes of Torah. Each and every week, you'll be introduced to a new Rav within the Young Israel movement who will share with you words of Torah. With that very happy introduction, let us begin.
Welcome, everyone. I would like to thank Rabbi Hammer and the leadership of the National Council for this new program and for the opportunity to participate in it. The Mishnah tells us in the 5th parak of Pirkei Avos that Asara Nisyonos Nisnasa Avraham Avinu, that Avraham Avinu was confronted with, underwent 10 challenges, 10 tests by God. One of those is in the beginning of this week's Parsha, Lech Lecha, where God tells Avram to relocate, to leave his birthplace, leave his home of origin, and to wander somewhat aimlessly. Yet, as Rosh Zalman Horowitz points out in his Sefer Beis Aharon, this doesn't seem to really be such a difficult challenge. If anything, this was actually an opportunity for Avram. As he points out, Rashi comments that God guaranteed Avram at the outset, al abanim v'al mamon v'al Hashem, that he would have children, he would have a future, a legacy, he would have wealth and accrue that to be able to establish his family and the progenitors of the Jewish people, and he was guaranteed a reputation in the world of such fame and positivity. So ask for Shlomo Zalman Horowitz as follows: U'lechaora mahu hanisayon. What is the test? What is the challenge that Avram is faced with? Halo secharo betzido. He's given only reward. He's guaranteed only reward. Now, Avram trusted God. He believed in God. So if he's guaranteed that this trip will be an amazing trip for you, you're only going to benefit from it, which he did. All of these came true. So then how is this a challenge? Shlomo Zalman Horowitz answers it in a particular fashion in Beis Aharon. I refer you there. I'd like to suggest the following. The Midrashim create a link between Lech Lecha in this week's Parsha of asking Avram to relocate and go on a journey, and the Lech Lecha of the last of the Nisyonos, of the last of the tests, namely the Akedah, where he's told, Lech Lecha el Eretz HaMoriyah, v'haleu sham le'olah, go and take your son and slaughter him. The Midrash creates a link, an echo between this Lech Lecha and that Lech Lecha. With that in mind, perhaps at the outset, when Avram was first instructed to leave his home, it wasn't a challenge. It sounded wonderful, and it was amazing, and it was great, and it wasn't a challenge at all. But when Avram was given the last of his nisyonos, the last of his challenges, that of the Akedah, told to take his son, whom God had guaranteed him, and who was born miraculously, when he was told to take that son and slaughter him, with that command, this experience of Lech Lecha became an nisayon, became a challenge. Because Avram was thinking, or could have been thinking, or certainly would have been entitled to thinking, you're telling me to take my son and slaughter him. When you told me at the outset, Lech Lecha, go on this journey, and it will be wondrous for you, and you'll have children and everything else that comes along with that and is necessary for that. And now you're telling me that basically what you told me before is all erased, is all for naught. So when I believed in you then, and I trusted you then, and I stood up to that challenge wholeheartedly, now with this new nisayon of the Akedah, that could have become a nisayon, could have, in retrospect, retroactively, become a challenge, because Avraham could have now regretted having listened, having withstood that challenge, having followed God. But he didn't. It was an nisayon in retrospect. It was a potential for Avram to regret that which he had committed to earlier, but he didn't. That was an nisayon. That oftentimes in life we regret things that we have done or that we haven't done, and there isn't any person who does not have that kind of experience. But what Avram is showing us and displaying to us is that sometimes one commits to something and everything turns out wonderful, and then sometime in the future something changes. And as a result of that change, in retrospect, one could regret what one committed to initially. what one put all of one's kind of heart and soul into. And Avram teaches us not to regret those commitments, not to regret those positive, virtuous overtures and acts, expressions of faith and trust in God, or other aspects of life to which one may commit, to not have that kind of regret. And that was his nisayon of Lech Lecha when he had the Akedah, in retrospect, the Lech Lecha in this week's Parsha. Wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom.